Alright guys, let's hop right into it. Choosing the right camera in today's market can be extremely overwhelming, especially since there are so many different options all over the place. It is so easy to get lost in all of the new gear, all of the new cameras, that you tend to just kind of lose sight of what your needs are and what you actually need. So in this video, I want to make that process a little bit easier for you guys, and I want to break down which cameras I would recommend to people depending on what type of work that they do. So I'm going to be covering so many different cameras, and I'm going to be breaking it into 3 different sections. Camera recommendations for all of my videographers out there. If you're shooting events, weddings, different things like that, what cameras I would recommend from beginner all the way to pro, and then what cameras I will recommend to content creators. Maybe you're trying to do YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you're trying to do the content creation thing. What cameras I would recommend to people that are trying to get into that, and also people that have been doing it for a while and people that want to level up where they're at now. And then lastly, the camera recommendations I would give to all of my fellow filmmakers out there, all my people that want to do documentary shoots, commercial, even narrative, all the recommendations that I would recommend to you guys. So hopefully this video helps narrow things down for you guys. At the end of the day, there is no wrong option out there, and there's gonna be some cameras that I leave out of this list that probably deserve to be on this list. So if you guys have any recommendations, please drop them down inside the comment section below. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, you already know what time it is. If you like content like this, make sure you like and subscribe to your boy. It means a lot. But let's get right into the video. Alright guys, now this first section is going to be for all of my videographers out there. If you are filming a lot of events, weddings, and so on, even creative videos, and you want to know what cameras you should invest into, this should be perfect for you guys. But first, I want to start off with the key needs that I feel like all videographers should be looking for within their camera. So if you don't get any of these cameras, just look for these things in the cameras that you're thinking about buying, and this should take you a long way. All right, so I feel like the key things that all videographers out there should be looking for when investing into their next camera is, number one, high quality 4K footage, being able to record in high quality 4K footage. Number two, also being able to have very good flexibility when it comes to low light performance. You want to make sure that you are able to be versatile. A lot of times when you're shooting events and different things, you don't know what you're walking into. It's not controlled environments. Some videographers aren't even bringing lighting, so you want to make sure that you have reliable, good low light performance in your camera. And then lastly, you're looking for very, very good autofocus. Again, for videographers out there, I understand how it is because a lot of my work is also videography work. Everything is fast paced. There's so many things going on. You want autofocus that you can rely on. So with these 3 camera recommendations, I tried to keep all that in mind. So the budget friendly option for videographers out there, I put on my list the Sony ZV-E10. I feel like this is perfect for all of my entry level videographers. Maybe you're just starting to get into filming stuff and you want to get very, very good quality and performance, but you also don't have that much flexibility within your budget. I believe you can get this camera for around $700 now, and it shoots 4K video up to 30 frames per second, and it also shoots S-Log, so now you can learn how to color grade your footage and get even better footage. It is also very good in low light performance, and it's small and can be kind of like a combo package where you can use it for videography stuff, but then you can also use it for your content stuff. So I feel like this is perfect for a lot of beginner videographers out there. The next camera I have out there in the mid-range, and I'm going to let you guys know right now, this is the biggest and best bang for buck. This is actually the camera I'm recording on right now. This is my favorite camera that I've ever owned. This is the Sony a7 IV. I believe you can get it for around $2,500 right now. If you look for it on eBay or used, you can get it even lower, and the value with this camera is absurd. I'm not even gonna get all the way into it. I literally just posted a review, a long-term review of the a7 IV, so if you guys are interested in this camera, please go ahead and check that out just to show me some support, but also it'll give you some clarity on how I feel about this camera. But just to give you a quick synopsis, it shoots 4K 10-bit, you get the S-Log, it's a downsampled 6K sensor, so the image is beautiful and amazing. It shoots amazing photos and amazing videos. It's literally the perfect hybrid camera in my opinion, and within that price range, it's the perfect mid-range camera for a lot of videographers out there. And then the last camera on this list, this is like the godfather of videography right now. So many videographers have been using this camera, and I mean, I had to put it on this list. I'm pretty sure everybody already knows what it is. It is the Sony FX3. Guys, this camera is amazing. Image quality is amazing. Honestly, as far as image quality, it's pretty close to the Sony FX6, and it's also very close to the Sony A7S III. It's literally an amazing sensor. You get that 4K 10-bit. You get the dual base ISO of the 800 and then the 12,800. So it's very, very, very good in low light situations. You can practically almost shoot in the dark. I use this camera on so many different events. I second shot with this camera for a lot of other creatives that I know, and this camera is absolutely amazing. But the price tag is pretty hefty. It's around almost $4,000, I believe. Getting it brand new right now will probably cost you around $3,800. Maybe it dropped down a little bit, so don't quote me on that, but it's around that price range. But if you want the best of the best, you want that versatility, this camera will take you a long way. And with this camera, you could dibble and dabble with so many other things. It's good for content creation, it's good for narrative, filmmaking, it's good for pretty much everything. So it's a very, very good camera if you're into video alone. I know it does have a 12 megapixel sensor for for pictures. I believe it's 12 megapixels, so it does take good pictures, but it's primarily a video camera. It's video focused, and it's an amazing purchase. If you guys have the flexibility in your budget, definitely get this camera. All right, and now for all of my content creators out there, I broke this down into 3 different categories that I felt like was important for content creators. All content creators should be looking into portability and ease of use. So you want a camera that's not too heavy, because obviously you're out there, you're getting content, you're traveling, you're doing so many different things. You don't want to be carrying a heavy camera, despite how amazing the image quality might be. You don't want to take an FX6 to go get content while you're traveling all around. So you want that ease of use and that portability. Also, for content creators out there, I feel like it's very important to have versatility for photos and videos. Just something as simple as this YouTube video. You have to record the video, but then you also need a thumbnail. You might want to go out and vlog, but then you might want to take some pictures too. So having that flexibility with photo and video, that hybrid type camera, is very, very important for content creators. Also, you want good audio and good vlogging features. Those are the 3 things that I feel like is very, very important for content creators out there, and that's what I kept in mind when making this list for content creators. All right, so the first camera on this list is a very budget-friendly camera, but I feel like it is perfect for a lot of content creators out there, and especially for people that are not into filmmaking, like movies and documentaries and commercials or even videography work. They just want a camera for their everyday life and to be able to capture content, and they're not that tech savvy. I feel like the Canon G7X Mark III is the perfect buy for a lot of those creators out there that want to get content. You want something that has a lot of ease of use. You want something that is portable, that is light. It has a flip up screen. It shoots 4K video. It shoots amazing photos. And then also, I originally started with Canon, and Canon's color science has been a thing for the longest, and for a reason. It produces naturally great looking colors, so you don't need to know that much with color grading to get amazing footage out of your Canon cameras. So that's why I decided to put this on this list at the budget friendly option. I believe you can buy this for around $750 brand new. Of course, on the aftermarket, if you find used prices on all of these cameras, you'll find better prices. So I feel like this is the perfect budget friendly, either like entry level content creator camera, or just for people that don't want to dive too much into camera features. You want something that's simple and easy to use. I feel like this is perfect for you. Now for the mid-range option, I have to suggest the Sony A7C Mark II. Guys, everything that I said about the Sony A7 IV, copy and paste, put it in this camera. It's amazing. So this is pretty much the A7 IV, but it comes in a smaller, more compact body. It's a newer camera, so I believe the in-body stabilization is a little bit better on this camera. It offers so much as far as like video quality plus hybrid taking photos. Everything I said about the A7 IV also applies to this camera, with just a few little minute differences. The reason why I love the A7 IV is because this camera is small. The A7 IV has a better form factor to me, but this camera being small makes it perfect for content creators. It's literally the perfect camera for content creators. And I also debated getting this camera just because of my whole YouTube journey. You can get the A7C Mark II for around $2,200 right now, which I feel like is an amazing bargain. And of course, if you find it on the aftermarket, you're probably gonna get a great price on it. Now at the high end, And I know a lot of people would probably say the Sony FX3, but I feel like for content creators at the high end, the very best camera that you can buy is the Sony ZV-E1. This is pretty much the Sony FX3, the Sony a7S III in a very small body. It is built for content creators. You get that dual base ISO at 800 and 12,800. The image quality is amazing. It comes in a very small form factor, so you can take it all over the world, wherever you want to go, and you can get amazing images out of this camera. It's literally the perfect camera for content creators. You can get the Sony ZV-E1 for around $2,800, I believe, brand new. But again, if you find it in the aftermarket, you find it on eBay, you can get a great price on that as well. All right, now for all of my cinematographers out there, all of my narrative filmmakers, if you want to get into narrative filmmaking, I broke this down into 3 different categories that I feel like is very important. Number 1, you want to be able to capture cinematic image quality, and number 2, you want a lot of dynamic range inside of your camera for color grading, and then number 3, you want high-end Kodaks that allow a lot of flexibility in post-production. So with that being said, I broke down 3 different cameras that I feel like is perfect for all of my filmmakers out there that want to get into documentary work, commercial work, whatever kind of work you're doing. These cameras are perfect. So at the budget-friendly option, I put the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And guys, this camera just had a price drop, so I believe you can get it for literally $1,000. I think it dropped down to like $900 and something dollars, plus taxes is gonna be $1,000. If you get it on the aftermarket, you could definitely get it way cheaper than that. This is literally the highest bang for buck video camera out there when it comes to just being able to have a lot of dynamic range, a lot of very good image quality, being able to shoot Blackmagic RAW. It offers so much, especially for all of my young filmmakers that want to get into narrative work or even documentary work, and you want to start investing into cameras that can suit this line of work, but you don't have the flexibility to spend so much money on a cinema camera. This gives you the best bang for buck at only, I believe you could probably find this camera for probably like $700 on the aftermarket. That is insane for the quality that you're getting. Now for the mid-range market, I really struggled with this because I feel like for all of my filmmakers out there, that mid-range market is kind of expensive. So initially, the first thing that comes to mind is the Sony a7S III, which I believe brand new you can get for $3,500 or something like that. And then obviously it's the Sony FX3, which I mentioned earlier for videographers. You can get that for almost $4,000. Again, both these cameras is perfect. You can get them on the aftermarket way cheaper. If you want the biggest bang for buck, you want something that's very affordable but also gives you a lot of power. I haven't personally used this camera, but I have a lot of friends that have used this camera and they rave about it. But that is the Panasonic. But that is the Panasonic. That is the Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II. I have never used the camera, but it offers full frame 10-bit 422 amazing colors. For all the people that I know that have used the camera, I see amazing images out of it, and I feel like it is the perfect mid-range camera if you only have around $2,000 and you want to invest in a mirrorless camera that gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to filmmaking. I feel like it's a perfect buy. If you have some more money, I would go after the Sony a7S III or the Sony FX3, but just giving you guys some options. Okay, and then at the high end, for all of my filmmakers out there, there was so many different options to choose from, but ultimately I decided to go with the Sony FX6. I will let you guys know I am a Sony FX6 owner, so maybe I could be biased, but I feel like this is the best cinema camera to date around this price range. So you can get this camera for around $6,000, and if you find a good deal on the aftermarket, maybe around $5,000 something. But this camera offers so much. It has internal NDs. It has amazing color science. It really, honestly, everything that I put in front of the camera, it finds a way to kind of just make it look a little bit more cinematic. I love the image quality out of this camera, and I love the functionality and the ease of use. I feel like it is the best cinema camera to date, in my opinion. There are so many other options out there, but then they start to cost more money. Like I know a lot of people might mention the Komodo X, or the Komodo, which is amazing cameras that offer amazing image quality, but once you start rigging those things up, they become extremely expensive. They probably run you around 10,000, maybe even 12 to 15, depending on what type of things you buy for that rig. And then we have so many other cameras, like even the Blackmagic Pixis just came out. That camera is cool, it's very affordable. I even considered it for the mid-range filmmaking camera, but once you rig that out, it starts to get a little bit more expensive too, and it starts to get around the same price range as the Sony FX6, and I don't feel like it competes with that, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, there are so many different cameras that you guys can choose, and that are different than the cameras that I included on this list, and those cameras will not be the wrong option. Picking out a camera is one of the hardest things because it really just depends on you, your style, the kind of work that you do, the way that you like to create, and then ultimately the camera that inspires you to go out and create. So this was not a list just telling you all of these cameras is the must-buy cameras and everything else sucks and does not work. That's the complete opposite, but hopefully this video helped narrow some things down for you guys. And even if you didn't find your camera within this video, maybe some of the key things that I took into consideration when picking the cameras, maybe that can help you pick out the perfect camera for you. So with that being said, I don't want this video to be too long. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. But we out.